another video on making orange bitters. Made orange bitters before, and I was telling a friend about it, and he wanted to know how I could more like intensify the bitters that I'd made. Not that there was anything wrong with them. He was just kind of like, how could you make that stronger? Normally, what you do to intensify things is you reduce them and evaporate off some of the liquid. However, the other way to describe it is like that tends to stew flavours. So something goes from being a raw flavour to a cooked flavour, which kind of changes things, which you don't always kind of want. So what I thought I could do is I could make the bitters the same way again, and then once I've filtered the bitters and the liquid is crystal clear, I could then use that bitters to in the process again, adding more orange zest and puring it and then filtering that again. So that should intensify the flavour. So that's kind of like an experiment. I would ordinarily I would have just taken the bitters. This is the bitters that I made the other day, the orange bitters. I would ordinarily just take that and add more zest to that, pure that up, and then kind of see if it worked. But I wanted like a control method. So this is just a normal method of making the bitters, and this is going to be like hopefully the improved version. So recipe was 100 grams of orange zest, just the very outside of the zest, none of the pith, because that's bitter in a way that we don't want it to be. And then we're going to use vodka as the liquid. You've got to use alcohol because it's going to it's also going to preserve it as well. If you were to use something like water, what would happen if you didn't keep it in the fridge or frozen? It would begin to ferment. So we don't want that. So we're going to use alcohol, just straight cheap. I'll show you. It's just cheap supermarket triple distilled vodka. It's fine. Nothing special about it whatsoever. And I will add, if you haven't seen the first video, there's no point going out and buying cheap vodka just to do this if you've already got vodka in the house. Use the vodka that you've got in the house. So 100 grams of orange zest, just the outsides, and then 200 milliliters of vodka, and then we've got a coffee paper which we're going to filter it through, and a funnel, and we've also got some a muslin cloth that what we're going to do is once we've pureed it, we're going to squeeze out the juice from the majority of the zest, and that's what we're going to filter. I did that last time. It's a much better way of doing it, so I don't need to faff around. So vodka in, over there. At some stage I might do another go at this. Oh, and I'm also, because I was faffing around with lemons today, I'm also going to make a lemon bitter at the same time, which will be the same recipe. I've got slightly less lemon zest, so I'm going to, it's a half the amount, so I'm going to be a slightly smaller recipe, but we're going to make some orange bitters at the same time to see how that goes as a little bit of an experiment. So it's kind of a 2 for 1, and one of them being hopefully be improved. So puree, zest. That's pretty liquid, so simply put that on, shake off the excess. I just need some kind of colander, that'll do. So just to make things easy, bit of a colander, linen cloth. This is just to strain out the excess amounts of zest. Because if you don't filter them out, you're losing flavour and you lose liquid as well. And we kind of if we're going to make them bitters, we want as much make as much as we can. So group it together, the cloth, and then give it a good squeeze to get most of the liquid out. And what we'll do, squeeze it around like that, and then we'll give it a really good squeeze using your whole hand. And then what that will do is that will reinforce the fabric. So if the fabric's getting a little bit weak, which I think this is, it hopefully won't spread out. So we'll give it a good squeeze and get as much liquid out as possible. Let's see how much liquid I actually got out of it this time. As in, like doing like a proper experiment, like I'm in a science lab. So, as much juice from the zest, as much vodka coming out of that as possible. Don't have to make noises like the Hulk, but I know it helps. Right, that's about as much as we're going to get out. So we have managed to get just over 200 milliliters. Don't know how. Maybe I didn't wait and measure it out first, or in the first place. So, juice through the coffee paper. The first pass through of the coffee paper, the juice won't become very clear. I'll show you what it looks like once it's gone through the first time. You need to pass it through the filter paper at least 3 times, if not 4, and then we'll get a completely crystal clear liquid. And then we'll repeat the process again with some more fresh zest. What happens is the particles the orange particles in the vodka here will end up lining the inside of this paper and act as a finer filter. Bizarre thing, and you kind of go, that's a load of rubbish, but it works, and I'll show you both. So give it a bit of swirl, and then we'll pour it through the paper. It'll take a couple of hours, but I'm just going to leave it overnight. There's no rush, it's not going to go off. Overnight, it's already started to pass through the paper. The second and the third passing through of the filter paper takes longer because obviously it's like a finer filter, so it takes longer to pass through. But anyway, that's it for the moment. I'll do the same with the lemon zest, exactly which I've done with the orange zest, and then filter that as well, and then we'll have a look at those in the next bit of the video, which will be tomorrow now, but I don't mean anything to you, it's like seconds away as the next part of the video. But that's it for the moment. So I hope that was pretty straightforward to understand. We'll add a little bit to this video. So this is the contents of the linen bag that we kind of squished all the zest and the juice through. As you can see, the zest is all kind of quite dry now, so I've got as much of the out of that as possible. I'm going to taste it. Yeah, there's no kind of real flavour, not much flavour left in that, so that'll be fine. Yeah, that's it. That was just wanting to add that little bit, but that kind of zesty, intense flavour has kind of come out of that zest, so that flavour will then be in the bitters there, which is filtering. As you can see what it is, it's all that orange on there. That's all the zesty tang is the right word, I suppose so. But that's it for the moment. So the bitters has now filtered through the coffee paper on the first filtering. As you can see, can you see? Yes. All this sediment here, or let's call it gunk, is that stuff that has not passed through the filter paper. So that is going to act as a finer filter for the bitters. I'll move the camera in a bit so you can see how the bitters has filtered itself. And then we can see here, this is the lemon bitters. The lemon bitters has come out a lot clearer on the first passing through of the filter paper, so I don't think it will need another filtering, but we're going to give it another filter. Anyway, so I'll move the camera. Do I need to pause, or shall I just monkey around? I will pause. Right, so as you can see here, this is the orange bitters. It's got some sediment on the top of it here, and then this is relatively kind of quite clear. It's quite clear because I've left it overnight and it's settled. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to then pour this through the filter paper again and repeat the process until it's completely clear with no sediment on top. This might take a few goes. It'll certainly take 3 goes, and I might need to put another coffee paper and then put the first coffee paper inside the second coffee coffee paper, and then what we got, and just to make a bit of a finer filter. But we'll carry on, keep repeating that process. I'll probably quickly show you once I've filtered it again. And then here you can see the lemon bitters. That's kind of quite clear, but I'll put it through the filter again. I'm not going to do that on camera because I'm very aware that I waffle and things go on a little bit too long. So we'll filter it again and then we'll come back. It'll take longer this time, but there's no rush, you know, and it's not, you don't have to stand there and watch it filter. You can just pour it through and then just disappear off and do anything for hours and hours and hours, and then eventually when you come back and have a look at it, that it will have filtered through. Actually, I will pour it through on camera because I'm very aware of other videos where they kind of go, and this is what I did earlier, and I don't entirely believe that that's how they did it. So we'll do it on camera. So carefully pour. We don't want to disturb, imagine, I think you can't really see it, but we don't want to disturb the silk too much, otherwise it won't act as a filter. So carefully pour down the sides, try not to spill, and then that'll start to pass through. As much out as we can if we don't like waste, certainly when we've been working for it so hard. Wasn't really hard, but anyway. So that's that, and that will slowly drip through over the next few hours. It's starting to come through now, but there's no rush. I'm not doing anything. You can just happily do that for the next few hours. So the bitters has this is the second passing through of the filter, and as you can see, there is lots and lots and lots of gunk in the filter. However, it's taken 24 hours for it to go through the filter. Well, probably not 24 hours because I was asleep for the last 8 hours of it. So there's the filter full of gunk, and it is now crystal clear with just the, as you can see there, the second pass through of the filter, whereas before it took, in the other video, it took like 3 or 4 goes, but I was faffing around a lot more in that video. So now I'm going to take this crystal clear liquid. I'm going to put it through, there's about 200 millilitres. I'm going to put it through another 100. We're going to pure it up with another 100 millilitres of the Orange Zest, and then we're going to see if we can make the bitters kind of even more intense than it is. Although it is, I've tasted it and it's kind of quite intense, but I think it could be a little bit more intense. So it's just kind of a bit of an experiment. This is the first bitters that I made, so you can kind of see it's a similar kind of colour, so, and a similar type of taste. So we'll use that as the measure of what the doing it once tastes like, and this will be the measure of the second puring up with the zest. I'm losing my words today, I don't know why. So, and I think what I'll do is I think I'll pass it, because that filter paper is already making things crystal clear. I think what I'll do is once I've pureed this and squeezed out the juice through a linen cloth, which I've got somewhere, yeah, I can see it, that's fine. I think we'll use this paper again, and then we'll only need to put it through the paper once, hopefully, or maybe twice. We'll see. Just a little bit of an experiment, as always. As forever, I am faffing with stuff. So, camera went dark, I don't know why. For some reason, we'll move around. Oops, everything's falling down. Ah, there we go, right again. Right, so, that out the way. That in there. Then I think the camera's a little bit too close, so I'll just do this side. just need to get something. That. And we need that. So, as before, we're just going to squeeze out the excess pulp from this, and then we're going to use the juice, and that's what we're going to put through the coffee paper. So, that'll do for that. And then a gentle squeeze to start it off. And then a twist and a proper Hulk squeeze, making a noise. Because that always helps you get more juice out of things by making a noise like a Hulk. Twist and squeeze, twist and squeeze. My hands are clean, I think. Yeah, they're definitely clean. I definitely remember washing them. I'm not going to get much more out of that. So, we'll have a look at this while we're here. It'll be quite dry, and I'll give it a bit of a taste. I'll see if there's any kind of flavour, much flavour left in there. No, there's not much flavour left in that. That's fine. So we can assume that most of the flavour has gone into the juice, and then we can use that glass again. So, that out of the way, that out of the way, that out of the way. Juice through the sieve again. It might not want. It might be a little bit too caked up, this coffee paper, so we might need to change the coffee paper and repeat the process with a fresh coffee paper. But we're just going to see to start off with. I say we, I mean me. So we'll see if it comes through. It'll probably take 24 hours for it to come through, but there's no rush. As long as it's out of the way, it's not going to get in my way. So I'll get as much out of that as possible. And that's it. We'll leave it for, it'll be 24 hours I'm guessing, so that's just fine. We'll just leave it on the back there. This is the, I haven't tasted this yet, this is the lemon bitters. Spoon. So same process as the orange bitters, but I haven't done the second passing through of, yeah, this is just like 100 grams, no, 50 grams of orange, getting confused. This is 50 grams of lemon zest and 100 milliliters of vodka. So I've only done the process once, haven't done it twice. So we'll give this a taste. That's definitely lemon bitters. Yes, I think what we'll do is the same. Is we'll puree up that with another 100 milliliter, puree that up, that liquid, up with another 50 grams of orange zest, lemon zest, and we'll see if we can make a more intense lemon bitters. But that is kind of quite bitter, not very lemony, but bitter all the same. So we're going to see. And then, as I'm kind of thinking about things, if the orange bitters works particularly well, instead of wasting this bitters in here and mixing it in with the new batch of bitters, I'll measure how much volume is in there, and then I will add the appropriate amount of orange zest and make some of the second batch of bitters with that as well, and then we've got like a so it won't go to waste at all. Right, that's it. I think that's it for 24 hours. Is it dripping through at the moment? I'm not entirely sure. No, I don't think so. Oh, yes, I think a drip's starting to form. So it might take 24 hours for the orange bitters. It's over there. I'm not going to pull it back over to drip through. But it's just fine. It can just sit on the back and just do nothing for 24 hours. Wish I could, but there we go. Right, so the coffee paper is not acting as particularly good filter as I thought. Well, as good as I thought it would be. It's the bitters is kind of cloudy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to exchange it for a new coffee paper. Pour the contents of that and what's left in there into a fresh coffee paper and start again. because it's taking forever and it's not particularly clear. So fresh coffee paper, I think. Yes, I don't think, I know, that's what I'm going to do. So it's now ready to go through the filter for the second time. So I'll just pour that there. Hopefully it will clear. Well, no, I don't think it will. I think it's going to collect some of that, the majority of that sediment out, but it might need to go through for a third time. It's coming through a little bit cloudy, but I just think that's because I disturbed the sediment in the bottom of the filter. But it won't be cloudy. It might need a third passing through, but you know, it's a work in progress, as most things are. So third filtering of the bitters. It's just got a little bit of sediment on the top, you can see just there, so I want to filter that out. I haven't tasted it yet. This filtering will take the longest time because there's now quite a build-up of sediment in the filter paper, so this one will take the longest amount of time. Oh, there's just something that drips through that. There's a little bit. We'll get rid of that. Off. Right, so that's that. This might take 24 hours, but it's fine. There we go. Right, so hopefully that will be the last time it needs filtering. Nothing's coming through yet, but it will do. It'll just take a little bit of time. So that's it for until it's filtered through. I don't know how long it will be. Seconds on the video, a lifetime in real life. Right, so the bitters has filtered through the coffee paper, and I think that's about as clear as it's going to get. I don't think putting it through the coffee paper again is going to make it any clearer. I've just taken, and so that was the bitters with double, so like the double process. So it was like 100 grams of zest, and then filtered it, and then added another 100 grams of zest, and then filtered it again. So that's that one. That's just the first bitters that I made. Which is just the 100 grams of zest per 200 millilitres, just filtered once. It's gone a little bit cloudy because it was in a bottle, and I just kind of thought, just so we could compare colours, I needed to put it into the same type of glass as that one. And obviously there was a little bit of sediment in the bottom of the bottle, and it's just slightly clouded up as I poured it into the glass. So there is a little bit of difference in colour. That one's slightly darker. I think that only looks a little bit darker because it's just gone a little bit clouded with agitating it, with pouring it into the glass. I've tasted them, and that's certainly more orangey. I don't think it's twice as orangey as that one, but certainly it's certainly a good way of intensifying the orange flavour. As always with a lot of things that I do, a complete and utter faff, and I'm sure there would be an easier way of doing things, and I can already think of potentially how I would do things differently next time. But all things considered, if you want to make your own orange bitters, because you don't want to have to pay a lot of money for a little bottle that you're not really going to use that much, and you've got some vodka in the house, and you've got some oranges that you're certainly a good time of year for oranges. You'll get the best oranges at this time of year. And it's one of those Christmassy things. People always tend to get oranges in. I don't know why they associate them with Christmas. So something that you're going to get the zest, which is free. I think it's an interesting thing to do. Certainly if you're into cocktails and all that kind of thing. And I'm forever playing around with things. So, and also, so that's those two. That is the lemon bitters. So it was 100 millilitres of vodka and 50 grams of zest. And then repeated the process again. That nice and crystal clear. If I'm honest, it smells more lemony than it tastes lemony, but still. So I've now got, if I want to faff around with something and I want some orange kind of essence and some lemon kind of essence bitters, I've certainly got both of them. So it was just an interesting experiment to do. Lots of faffing around, but I quite enjoy the faffing. So that's it. That is orange bitters for the moment. There might even be another video. Who knows?